Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, January 6th. Oh my, you guys already know why I'm smiling. We'll get into it, but I think you guys already know it was the headline game, national television. We got a lot of games from last night that we got to talk about. Hope everybody's doing absolutely phenomenal on this wonderful, cheeky Tuesday. We have a lot of games that I want to go over. In fact, today's episode was supposed to be predominantly my bold takes for the rest of the NBA season, and I had to completely pull an audible and change up the topic of discussion today. So we'll hopefully do the bold takes tomorrow. So hopefully we have some boring NBA games tonight. I can't imagine Mavs Kings is going to be incredibly entertaining. I think tomorrow is the more like headliner game with the Lakers and Spurs playing each other. But today we are instead going to be breaking down some of the games that happened last night. Most of them went down to the wire. And I'm sort of going to be ranking the games in order of how entertaining I think they all were. Now, starting with the headliner game, of course, you guys know I like starting with the earlier games because that's the games that has the most viewers. And in case you don't know, last night it was, I think 3 games on Peacock. So pretty good, all things considered. I do want to say, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. We need some more 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. TikTok viewers, be sure to just keep double tapping that screen. Get a bunch of likes over there. YouTube, same as y'all. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and Twitch chat. All you guys got to do is kick back, sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started with the game of the night, the game that they were hyping up for over a week on Peacock/NBC. And last night we were all on some Peacock, that is. Last night, the Detroit Pistons absolutely obliterate, decimate, destroy, embarrass the New York Knicks on national television. I could use 100 adjectives, and none of them can truly show you the utter domination that Detroit showed last night. I think we saw something that, well, I didn't expect last night, and I think a lot of fans didn't expect, especially Knicks fans, because from what I can tell you right now, last night when I was scrolling Twitter in the middle of the game, all I'm seeing, and in fact, I had to look the word up. I had to ask my fiance to my right, hey, the word isn't paranoia, right? I want to say the Knicks are in paranoia tomorrow. What's the word I'm looking for? And she told me it's not paranoia, Joe. It's pandemonium. And I was like, wow, that's the word that I need to say tomorrow on stream. Because Knicks fans were an absolute pandemonium. They were all in disbelief. Trade Karl Anthony Towns. Trade Mikal Bridges. Trade OG Anunoby, trade this guy, trade that guy. Hell, they could have said trade Mike Brown. What I was seeing last night was an absolute disgrace of a fan base, absolute disgrace of a team. It was just an hour before this game that James Dolan, the owner of the New York Knicks, came out and said officially that we will not be hanging up the NBA Cup banner because we want the real NBA championship banner. And then they proceeded to get routed in Detroit by 31 points. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this team, right? And I'm going to say my favorite excuses that I saw on Twitter from Knicks fans. The one in particular is from a man that I don't care to learn his name. And I'm not going to tell you his name either because I want him to really just, I hope he woke up in a cold sweat this morning because just a couple weeks ago, this same man on Twitter went out and said, as a Knicks fan, the Detroit Pistons are a good little basketball team. Well, this good little basketball team just embarrassed your entire franchise in Detroit. Good little basketball team. He went live as soon as the game ended on Twitter, and I had to tune in just to see what these super fans from the Knicks We're saying. And he started off with the most pathetic excuse in the game I've ever seen. The Knicks are tired. That stupid NBA Cup. This is a quote. The stupid NBA Cup, the game that means nothing. They're tired. They had to play this stupid NBA Cup a month ago, and they're tired, and they looked it tonight. And then I was just like, okay, let me just check something. I go and check. The Pistons have played 36 games. You would assume that the New York Knicks have played like 40, right? The Knicks played 36 games. Let me say that one more time in case you didn't hear me. The Detroit Pistons have played 36 games. The New York Knicks have also played 36 games. So who's tired? So now let's talk about some other excuses that they were using. The Pistons were playing physical, and they were playing dirty, and they were playing nasty. How dare they only have 7 foul calls in 3 quarters? Now I'm here to tell you, whoever refereed last night's game, if they referee the Pistons in the playoffs, the Pistons are sweeping every team. Because here's the thing. You guys already know me. I am a Detroit Pistons fan, so I like to keep my biases away from these competitions. I like to keep my biases away from all of these matchups so I can watch the game objectively. But last night, it was really hard to sort of not show my emotion for my basketball team. I watched them lose 28 games in a row 2 years ago. And then I watched them without their second all-star in Jalen Durant, without Tobias Harris, which I'm okay with. The team is playing better without Tobias Harris this season, with all due respect. I love Tobias. I love what he's brought to the team. But they are playing better without Tobias. It's all in the numbers. And without Karis LeVert, again, another player that I think the Pistons should move by the trade deadline. I don't think there's any reason to have Karis LeVert on the team as your secondary ball handler off the bench, because you have Dennis Jenkins and Marcus Sasser, and Jaden Ivey can play the number 2. So I want to talk about the actual game from last night, because I'm seeing the comments said 100 times in the TikTok stream already. What happened last What happened last April, huh? What happened last May? What happened? Oh, stop. If you need that, that's fine. You can use that as a coping mechanism. I can't tell you how many times I saw the Jalen Brunson snatch back, step back on Asar Thompson to seal the series last year. I can't tell you how many times I saw that in the last 24 hours. So, Knicks fans, if you guys need that to cope, that's fine. Do it. I'm okay with it. Like I said, it's just one game. It's just one game. And in fact, this is the scary part about all of this. It may have been one game, but it was the most important game of both these team seasons so far. The NBA Cup wasn't more important than this. The NBA Cup was not more important than this. The Knicks knew that this is the game that they're going to win. They've been talking about this game for weeks. In fact, they went and asked Isaiah Stewart 3 weeks ago, Beef Stew. They asked Isaiah Stewart 3 weeks ago. They said, Stu, if you were playing in the series last year against the New York Knicks, because in case you don't know, the Pistons were missing Isaiah Stewart and Jaden Ivey. They asked him, if you were there in that series, would the outcome have gone differently? And Isaiah Stewart said, yeah, we would have won. So they took that interview and they showed that exact interview to Karl Anthony Towns. And they said, what do you think about this? Because what Isaiah Stewart said has some validity behind it. You guys lost to the Pistons 3-1 in the regular season last season. And that's because of Isaiah Stewart dominating Karl Anthony Towns on the defensive end. So they asked Cat, do you think there's any validity behind that statement? And he said, nah, we won, and that's the past. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. The Knicks were missing Josh Hart. I don't think Josh Hart is equivalent to Jalen Durant, who's an all-star, Tobias Harris, who's a great role player, and Karis LeVert, who's essentially our sixth man. Okay? So I want to talk about a couple major problems I see with the New York Knicks. Okay? What's your type in men? TikTok wants to ask me, what is my type in men? Anybody with the last name Cunningham is my type in men. So let's get started and talk about the New York Knicks, right? I'm going to save Jalen Brunson, the captain of this basketball team, for last. So get ready. Mikal Bridges, you guys traded 5 first-round picks for him. 4 guaranteed. I'm a fan of Mikal Bridges. I said last year that the wingstop duo of Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, who I love. Here's the thing. I love everybody on this New York team, except for one player, and I can tell you who the player I don't like. And it's funny, because Knicks fans and I am not your enemy. You guys should be liking me because of what I'm about to say, because we all agree with each other. I'm not saying anything outlandish. Mikal Bridges has not looked good as of late. The last couple weeks, he has not looked good. He has not looked like what they traded for. Okay? Let's talk about OG Anunoby. Wow. Let me just say this about Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Last year in the playoffs, I was watching Cade Cunningham get absolutely hounded. Cade had a good series numbers-wise for all my box score watchers, but as a Pistons fan, as a Cade fan, I can tell you right now, Cade was not comfortable at all in the playoff series last year. In fact, if we didn't have Dennis Schroeder, we probably would have lost in 5. Cade Cunningham was absolutely hounded last year in the first round against Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. OG's on him, forced him into a bad shot. OG's on him, Mikal Bridges would blitz him on the screen. And the Pistons couldn't get anything going last year in the playoffs because of that duo right there. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, the absolute pinnacle of what perimeter defense looks like in today's modern NBA. Last night, they looked like mincemeat. I got to be honest, and I know my Knicks fans agree with me. What was happening last night, OG Anunoby looked not like OG Anunoby. Mikal Bridges did not look like Mikal Bridges. And now here's another key component to this team. And I've been preaching this since the beginning of this year. I never give Cade Cunningham enough credit that he deserves. But I am here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I said it at the very first preseason game of this year. Cade Cunningham looks different. He looks more in control. Cade Cunningham has learned from that Knicks series last year. I've been preaching it all season, and I feel like nobody has been listening to me. Cade Cunningham, because of the New York Knicks, has learned how to be more physical, how to get into the lane no matter what, how to finish around the hoop, and how to get some free throws now. The New York Knicks, by accident, trained Cade Cunningham into being a bona fide MVP candidate. I have to thank the New York Knicks for that, because Cade was not doing this last year. Cade, undisputed, was the best player on the court last night. He's bumping Mitchell Robinson in the paint. He is moving Karl-Anthony Towns in the paint. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges could not stay in front of him. I have watched every single Pistons game over the last 17 years. And I can tell you, I have never seen a player this good in a Pistons uniform. Now, I want to talk, I'm going to skip over Cat. I'm going to skip over Brunson. I want to talk about the last player I'm going to talk about for the New York Knicks, and that's Mitchell Robinson. You're probably wondering, why are you not going to talk about Deuce McBride? Main reason is he had most of his buckets in garbage time, so it didn't really count. Mitchell Robinson last night showed early on that, okay, I can body Paul Reed and Isaiah Stewart. Mind you, the Pistons are without Jalen Durant, an all-star. The Pistons are missing an all-star, okay? And Mitchell Robinson looked like a normal center. He had 3 offensive rebounds. Honestly, something that I think Mitchell Robinson needs to learn is how to put the ball in the hoop after getting an offensive rebound. That's my honest opinion. He needs to learn to not kick it out every time. Now, I have 2 more Knicks to talk about. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is the only NBA player I don't like in the NBA. And that's why, Knicks fans, I'm telling you guys, I am not your enemy here. I may be a Pistons fan, but Karl-Anthony Towns is the only player I do not like in the NBA. I can tell you right now, it's his play style that just sort of sickens me. I can put up with Lucas foul bait, and I can put up with Shai Gilgeous being at the free throw line. I can put up with Denny Avdia just running into the hoop and getting free throws. But Karl Anthony Towns last night had more turnovers than shot attempts. He had the same amount of turnovers as he did points. Karl Anthony Towns kept using that little dumb hook he does because he cannot get past his defender. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, last night, we saw what Isaiah Stewart does to Karl Anthony Towns. He did this all regular season last year, and that's why Karl Anthony Towns was so crucial. That's why Isaiah Stewart was so crucial last night and in the regular season, and that's why we missed him into the playoffs last year. Isaiah Stewart, I saw Paul Reed and Isaiah Stewart just absolutely bodying Karl Anthony Towns last night, and he looked soft. He looked soft. He looked very soft. He is way too big to be hanging around the three-point line and trying to put the ball on the court, because every time he put the ball on the floor, he would either offensive foul or turn it over. Guys, there's a bunch of nasty dogs in Detroit, man. Let's finish off the Knicks talk with Jalen Brunson. Now, this is the part where you Knicks fans can make fun of me. This is the part where you guys can insult me. But I gotta be honest here. I'm not going to say anything out of pocket, okay? I promise I'm going to be completely unbiased with what I say about Jalen Brunson. He's incredible. I was watching in the first quarter, and I'm like, dude, how do you stop this guy? How do you stop him? He's incredible. He's so good. And then the Pistons called a timeout. And then Ausar Thompson locked him up. Ron Holland locked him up. It was like I just watched my team grow up in real time. Ausar Thompson could not guard Jalen Brunson last year, not to the extent of we know how good he is. We know how Ausar Thompson is at defense. He's number one in all points of attack defensively. Ausar Thompson, by the numbers, is the best perimeter defender in the NBA right now. Numbers back it all up. And something that Ron Holland, a second-year player, and Ausar Thompson looked like. They allowed Jalen Brunson to get 12 points in the first quarter, and he scored 13 from then on. They learned how to guard Jalen Brunson. All you do is guard without your arms. Keep your arms down. He's going to bait something. Guard him with your chest. They did it to Luka the other night. Last week, the Pistons dominated the Lakers, and they guarded Luka the same way they guarded Jalen Brunson. Stay on the floor and don't swing your arms, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about the biggest problem of the New York Knicks. They are not playing like the New York Knicks from a couple weeks ago. And the main reason is they're not moving the ball around. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Brunson had 0 assists last night. In fact, I had to watch the game over again to just see. What were they missing his assists? Should Jalen Brunson, did he get sold by his teammates? He passed one time into a shot last night. The most assists Jalen Brunson could have had last night was 1. If the one teammate hit that 3, he would have finished with 1 assist. Instead, Jalen Brunson didn't pass the ball to anybody last night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just an observation. Jalen Brunson did not pass the ball last night other than one time that almost led to an assist. This is something that is not going to work come playoff time. Mike Brown is not a hero ball player. And yet last night, Jalen Brunson was trying to play hero ball. Jalen Brunson, 0 assists last night. 25 points, 10 for 21 from the field, 0 assists and 6 turnovers. That is not going to get it done. And as far as my Pistons go, I've sort of been talking about them here and there. The Pistons, this is a perfect game that you get out of the Detroit Pistons, and they're missing 3 key players and 1 all-star. Paul Reed came in and did his thing. Duncan Robinson couldn't hit a 3 to save his life, other than the first one and like one more later on. But Duncan Robinson does all the little things that Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. never did for the Detroit Pistons last year. The handoffs to the big men, the gravity that he demands, the finishing around the hoop. Duncan Robinson is the perfect veteran for this team, And I think he's going to show up and show out into the playoffs. He's the most experienced player on the Detroit Pistons, and in the playoffs is where he's going to prove most valuable. Asar Thompson, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and he locked up Jalen Brunson for the rest of the game. Him and Ron Holland were just taking turns on bullying Jalen Brunson. If you watch this game, you would understand. Jalen Brunson had 12 points in the first quarter and then 13 points for the other 3 quarters in the game. Okay? Isaiah Stewart, the stat line doesn't do it justice. If you guys were watching this game, you would understand. Isaiah Stewart, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. He absolutely put Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson in jail for 99% of the game. Every time he'd get switched up on Jalen Brunson, all of a sudden Jalen Brunson doesn't want to shoot, except for that 1 3 that he got that was an and one, right? I'm going to save the captain of the Pistons for last. Javonte Green. I have been preaching him. Woo is what we call him. Javonte Green, absolute unbelievable pickup that Trains and Landon did at the end of the summer. 2 weeks before the training camp, they signed Javonte Green. My fiance asked me, who's Javonte Green? I said, he's a journeyman in the NBA. He's a dog. I actually like that pickup. I don't think he'll be playing a whole lot, but he's a dog. And guess what? He's a part of the main rotation. He's a part of the culture that they're hosting in Detroit. He's a part of their identity. 17 points. This is not an anomaly, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He hits 2 to 3 threes every single night. If you dare him to shoot, he's going to shoot. If you dare him to drive to the rim, he's going to poster you. Javonte Green, 17 points, 6 for 9 from the field. Absolute pinnacle pickup for the Detroit Pistons. Ron Holland, the box score does not do you justice. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 blocks. 3 blocks, all of which were on Jalen Brunson. And people are trying to tell me that you can't guard Jalen Brunson. Ron Holland and Asar Thompson just showed the entire NBA how to guard Jalen Brunson. Jaden Ivey had his best game of the season, 16 points. He's just getting better each and every game. And Dennis Jenkins has proven that he needs a contract in the NBA. Dennis Jenkins is still a two-way player. We can only play him 13 more times before we have to offer him a contract. The Detroit Pistons overall just absolutely embarrassed the New York Knicks. It's just one game. It is just one game. But for the New York Knicks, this loss matters a whole lot more than the win does for the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, a couple weeks ago, were called by one of the biggest New York Knicks faces on Twitter a good little basketball team. Well, I think I can confidently say the Detroit Pistons are the best team in the East today. They are better than just a good little basketball team. If you guys enjoyed that segment, we are moving on to our next game. We have a lot of games to cover. TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to keep dropping some likes over there. Drop a follow. We do this every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. And by the way, we need some more NBA fans in the Twitch stream. We're trying to still find fans of like all the other franchises. We're trying to like be like Thanos and try to like collect all the teams. So if you guys are enjoying it, especially Pistons fans, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. We need more Knicks fans. We need more Pistons fans. We need a lot more of every fan in the NBA. So be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Exclamation point, or sorry, I guess the commands don't work over there, but look up Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch or just click the link in my bio. We need more Pistons fans. We need more Knicks fans. We need a whole lot more of you fans. Come over to the Twitch, join our community, get away from all the morons in the TikTok. Let's move on to our next game. Oh, by the way, before I move on, something that the Pistons did last night that they never did last year is attack Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is piss poor on defense. He can't do anything. I mean, this was an and one for Cade. This just shows you how good Cade is. But I mean, the Pistons didn't take advantage of this at all in the playoffs last year. Just get Jalen Brunson in the pick and roll action. Look at this dude. He's absolutely lost. Jalen Brunson can't play defense. And then, I mean, on top of all of that, the Pistons star player not just plays defense, but he's the best defending point guard in the NBA. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That if your point guard is doing this, what can't your point guard do? What can't your point guard do? Now let's move on. Sorry, podcast listeners. I didn't show the Twitch chat what I was talking about. Let's move on to Kevin Durant's game-winning shot last night against the Phoenix Suns. This game was very, very fun to watch, especially the second half. I'll tell you what. The stats tell you that the Phoenix Suns should have won last night. They should have won last night. But the Houston Rockets came up late and came alive. This was all without Alperen Sengun as well. Kevin Durant, they called him on the game. He's one of the best closers in the NBA. And I was in my Discord server talking with my community. And I was like, did I just hear the commentator say Kevin Durant's one of the best closers in the NBA? No, he's not. I can't remember the last time he hit the final shot of the game, right? I started to think of like the Mavs shot that he hit against Dallas like 15 years ago. And I said that. And then Durant hit a three and told him to get out of here. Go back to Phoenix. So I was just wrong. I was just wrong there. Jay Money, big shout out to you for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you. For everybody that's watching as well, if you come into the Twitch stream and watch for 3 streams, I will gift you a $5 sub, which means no ads for 30 days. So if you guys do come into the Twitch stream, let me know who you're a fan of. Get involved in the conversation because I really only read my Twitch chat. Be sure to come through to the Twitch, watch for 3 streams in a row, and I will gift you a sub personally out of my own pocket. Okay? So Jay Money, shout out to you for coming through to the Twitch. The Houston Rockets last night, honestly, just big bodied the Phoenix Suns. And I thought it was a great game because what I was seeing from Amen Thompson run the point, what I was seeing from Kevin Durant being an actual closer and leading this team without Steven Adams, like Kevin Durant without Alperen Sengun, Kevin Durant took 21 shots last night. Kevin Durant has been averaging like 14 to 15 shots every night, right? And he actually took 21 last night. Another thing, the Rockets are obviously still missing Fred VanVleet. I don't think he's going to come back this year. Maybe he will for the playoffs, but they were missing Alperen Sengun, and that's their biggest component that they were missing. But Torrey Eason came in, didn't shoot efficiently. Jabari Smith Jr. was great. I love Jabari Smith in the NBA. He's great. Steven Adams did his thing as he always does. The Houston Rockets just looked like the better and stronger team to close this game out. I have a couple key points that I got to talk about for the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker. I mean, dude, what's going on here? I know we just hit the game winner against Oklahoma, but we got to talk about Devin Booker this season. Why are you shooting 29% from 3? Why? He's a career 35% shooter from deep. And this year, he has not been able to get it going from deep. Devin Booker has not looked like Devin Booker. He's putting up points, sure. 27 points, 3 assists, but he's shooting 9 for 20 and 29% from 3. That's not going to get it done. Dylan Brooks can only do so much. Royce O'Neal can only do so much. One thing that excites me about the Phoenix Suns is that when they get Jalen Green back, I think Devin Booker would then at least have some gravity pull him away, you know? I think right now Devin Booker's taking just contested 3 after contested 3 after contested 3. And I think with the addition of Jalen Green, having Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, Colin Gillespie all in the court with him at the same time, I think that's going to really benefit Devin Booker's percentage. I think it's going to help him because right now he is not shooting well whatsoever at all. Yo, Hell, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. Massive, massive, massive shout out to you for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch, my man. Welcome. Grayson Allen with a goose egg last night. He had 0 points, 0 for 6. Not a good return game. Not a good returning game whatsoever. My man Jay's a Pistons fan, and he just came through to the Twitch. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Be sure to stick around. I will gift you a sub if you come into 3 streams in a row, and be sure to join the Discord. !Discord in the Twitch chat. If somebody can hit it for him. We need some more Pistons fans. I'm all alone here. All right. So honestly, I really don't have much to say. I don't have much to say. Devin Booker needs Jalen Green to come back. I think he'll be back in a couple weeks here. I think he's reevaluated this week. So we should be hearing some news about Jalen Green. The Suns were also without Nick Richards. I mean, this Suns team is good. If you want to call a team a good little basketball team, the Suns are a good little basketball team. And I mean that by no disrespect. I mean that genuinely. Not like how the disrespect that the guy meant for the Pistons, but I'm talking they are a good little basketball team. When they get Jalen Green back, they're still going to crush their projected over-under this year, which was 32.5. They're still going to crush it. They're at 21 wins. They're in the playoff picture. Honestly, I'm happy because the Suns team was not supposed to be that good. But Kevin Durant did say after the game, they tried scapegoating me and I had to send them packing. Kevin Durant did his thing, man. I love seeing Kevin Durant take over. So big, big, big win for the Houston Rockets. Let's move on to our next game. Here we go. Up next, we have the Hornets absolutely demolishing the Oklahoma City Thunder 124-97. Guys, I don't know what to say about this. I really don't know what to say. When you look, so there's a funny thing, right? There's a funny thing when you can look at stats. If you watch the game and then you look at the stats, things make sense. This game didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but let me explain why. The reasons that this doesn't make sense is the Charlotte Hornets had 21 turnovers. The Oklahoma City Thunder had 14 steals. So you look at those things, points off of turnovers, 29 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder. 14 fouls for the Oklahoma City Thunder. More points in the paint. When you look at this and then you look at the final score, something doesn't make sense. You watch this and this is a game that you cannot look at the box score because it tells a completely different story than what the final result of the game is. And this is why I tell everybody, if you're a box score watcher, we'll know. It's very obvious to tell if somebody's a box score watcher or not. Because if you look at the box score here, you look at the Hornets and nothing jumps at you. Nothing jumps at you. Miles Bridges, 50%, had 17 points. Brandon Miller, 50%, 28 points. Good game. Con Knippel, 8 for 13. That's the one thing that you're like, oh, okay. Whoa, damn. Con Knips, okay. Diabate, 4 for 5. LaMelo Ball, 5 for 10. Nothing is jumping at you, especially when you look at their bench. 0 for 1, 0 for 1, 0 for 0, 1 for 3, 3 for 9, and then PJ Hall, 5 for 6. And you're like, okay, this, I can see that they got buckets, but surely the other team got buckets. Here's the issue, chat. Here's the issue, ladies and gents. I have some very important key notes. Things that didn't matter at the start of this year, but things that matter now. Okay? It wasn't too long ago we were saying nobody can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was not too long ago. I have some very important things for Thunder fans to pay attention to. Are you ready? You all know what I'm about to talk about. Lu Dort. He is shooting 33% from 3 this year and 38% from the field. That is horrible. That's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. That is horrible. 38% from the field, 33% from 3. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but Jay-Z, like, he's not the scorer on this team. Ladies and gents, last year, he shot 41% from 3. That is not a typo. Lu Dort, was that a fluke? Was that a fluke? You shot 41% from 3 last year, and now you're shooting 33%? Okay. Now I got some more interesting things. I saw one Thunder fan put this tweet out last night. He said, this team has looked incredibly different ever since #he returned. And I said, he's talking about J-Dub. He's talking about J-Dub. I'm going to read this comment from my new homie that just joined the Twitch stream. He left the TikTok and came through to the Twitch. He joined the community that actually knows ball. So TikTok, I'm talking to you. Make sure to come to the Twitch. He said, if I'm being honest, I don't think the Thunder can repeat. I think it's very early to say that, but you're not crazy for saying that. J-Dub. Let's take a look at J-Dub last night. 6 for 14 from the field, 16 points. Surely he wasn't the fault, right? Well, let's just look at his stats, ladies and gents. J-Dub is shooting a 31% from 3 this year. So now your starting lineup has 2 players shooting on an average 32% from 3-point land. You're telling me around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have 2 players shooting 32% on average? What is this? The Detroit Pistons? This isn't the Oklahoma City Thunder that we know. This looks like the Detroit Pistons. 32% on average from 3? For a guy that dropped 40 points in a finals game? For a guy that's being paid $750 million? That's not going to cut it. Shai, 7 for 21. He still got his 20 points, though. Cason Wallace, 1 for 6. Bad game. AJ Mitchell, 4 for 9. He was the only real production off the bench. Isaiah Joe, 1 for 7. Brendan Carlson, 1 for 5. Kenrich Williams, 3 for 6. They're missing Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, but I won't be a party. I will not be a party to the conversation that's telling me they lost because they didn't have Hartenstein. They lost because they didn't have Caruso. No. That's not how this works. That is not how this works. And I love this comment from my boy Avatar in the Twitch stream. He said, I think J-Dub is being way too passive and tries to get Chet involved too much. Chet cannot play off ball. He literally stands and waits for the ball. And I think you're absolutely correct. Chet Holmgren needs the ball in his hand, but Shea needs the ball in his hand. But J-Dub needs the ball in his hand. There's only one ball on the court. So as I said, looking at the box score, ignoring the plus minus, you really would wonder who won this game. But the eye test tells you everything. And from that one LaMelo Ball shot that he hit, falling out of the corner, and he hit that was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. This team is just, the Hornets, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, the Charlotte Hornets, and I'm going to say this with my chest, with my full chest. If the Hornets can stay healthy, they are going to have a leap similar to the Pistons did last year. Not this year, last year. Year 2 of Con Knips. Maybe more development with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Honestly, if you want to get rid of LaMelo Ball, that's fine. As long as you can get another point guard. You can move a lot of pieces on this team. Colin Sexton can get moved. A lot of these players can get moved. It's just a matter of not, or if they can build a team around this team. Because right now, you can see the vision. This is the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Anything can happen on any given night. Last night happened to be one of the Charlotte's nights. But to be honest, they are fun to watch. And I can't even watch them unless it's illegal. Because I'm in North Carolina and I have League Pass, so I can't watch them because it's blacked out. It's stupid. Guys, we have so many games to cover. Let's go ahead and move on to the Denver Nuggets B team defeating the Philadelphia 76ers. I can't be in the audience defending the Philadelphia 76ers here. I can't. This was atrocious. The Denver Nuggets went on a 14-0 run to send this game into OT last night. And then the Denver Nuggets won it in overtime. 76ers had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. VJ Edgecombe did his thing. Tyrese Maxey did his thing. But unfortunately for them, they didn't do their thing in the clutch. VJ Edgecombe did stuff. Tyrese Maxey did stuff. If you look at this box score, the 76ers win this game. They win this game. This game was a 3-point shootout. 18 threes went in for the Nuggets. 17 threes went for the 76ers. And one of those threes meant all the difference. Again, the team with more turnovers won the game. Just like the Hornets and Thunder, the team with more turnovers won the game. I can't imagine these lineups ever practiced together. And yet here they were. Jalen Pickett dropping 29 points. Spencer Jones, 10 points. Peyton Watson, 24. When I opened this game up on Peacock, the way that Peacock was advertising this game had Peyton Watson and Tyrese Maxey's face on it. Peyton Watson and Tyrese Maxey's face on it. And somehow the team with Peyton Watson as the face won the game. Bruce Brown, 19 points, hit some clutch threes at the end of the game. Zeke Naji, 21 points off the bench, shooting 7 for 11. Hunter Tyson, who? That's right. If you're a casual, you'd have no idea. Bro, the Nuggets were without Nikola Jokic, MVP, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, their entire starting lineup. Not just that, they were missing Tim Hardaway Jr., their 6-man. You cannot make this up. This team beat the 76ers on Joel Embiid's unbelievable game. Unbelievable game. Embiid has been moving different last year. Thank you, hello. The Twitch chat right now is spitting nothing but facts. TikTok, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. You guys are missing out on engaging conversation. Paul George in 2026, yuck. 8 points, 3 for 10. Joel Embiid, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He was a +8. He was the only positive player on the starting lineup. Love it, Joel. Love it. VJ Edgecombe didn't shoot great, but he had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Hit some big shots as a rookie. He also had 2 blocks and 2 steals. I'm not sure why Philadelphia didn't play Andre Drummond. Was he hurt? I'm unsure. Drummond should always be playing for this team. Instead, I was seeing the closing lineup of Adam Bona and Joel Embiid. I'm not going to lie. With the way Drummond's been playing this year, I would like Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond right next to each other. They both spread the floor now. They both stretch the floor. I'm pretty sure Andre Drummond's averaging like minimum 30% from deep. He's shooting 39% from deep. This guy Drummond, on less attempts, obviously, is shooting better than the best three-point shooters for the Detroit Pistons. Come on, man. Come on. I think Nick Nurse is arguably one of the worst coaches in the NBA. And I don't think that's a hot take to say. I think he was hard carried by Kawhi Leonard. And I feel like Nick Nurse is the new age Doc Rivers. Anybody else? Anybody else, or is that just me? I think Nick Nurse is the new Doc Rivers. That one championship inflates their resume beyond belief. I think Doc Rivers is a bad NBA coach, and yet he still has jobs. He got that one ring in 08, and he's still praised today. I like Doc Rivers on the mic, to be honest. But I think Nick Nurse is a very bad head coach as well. Ty Lue is obviously horrible, too. I mean, he's just, again, another coach boosted by the one ring that they got carried to. Ty Lue, yeah, I think you're right. Ty Lue is the Doc Rivers. I think you're right. Good comms, Twitch chat. Good comms. The 76ers choked this game away. Choked. You're losing to a starting lineup of Bruce Brown, Jalen Pickett, Day'Ron Holmes II, Spencer Jones, and Peyton Watson. That's not a good win. And in fact, that was in Philadelphia, ladies and gents. That was in Philly. You cannot be losing games like that. That's why I believe in the NBA standings, right? In the NBA standings, there was a huge cutoff after the 4th seed. Major cutoff. Me personally, I think the Magic are going to be the 5th or 4th seed. I think the Magic will climb up. The 76ers are not a 5th seed. And I think they will be dropping here shortly. After 3 seed, really. I'll be honest. Yeah, I think after the 3 seed, like top 3 seeds, obviously not standing wise right now, but this is how it is. This is the top 3, and then it's sort of everybody else. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's just funny. I didn't say it earlier, but I do have to say it, and I will wrap this up very quickly. There were 2 teams that every NBA fan was saying was going to come out of the East before the season started. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks were the only 2 teams people said were going to come out of the East. The Pistons beat them both on a back-to-back. Come on, man. And for our last game to talk about from last night is Jimmy Butler's game-winning shot does not fall in LA. They fall and they lose. And honestly, I'm not going to stay much time on this. I'm not going to spend much time on this. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Incredible game. 10 for 25. Didn't shoot efficient, and he shot 0 for 8 from deep. 0 for 8. John Collins, immaculate game. 18 points, 7 for 12. I really liked Kobe Saunders last night. He played really, really well with missing Bogdan and missing Derrick Jones Jr. I really like Kobe Saunders. He's a really good player. I like him a lot. Now, my issue is the Warriors. My God, are they mid? My Lord, are they mid? Jimmy Butler got his 24 points. A lot of people don't talk about Jimmy Butler's free throw ability, but man, he gets to the line a lot. 11 free throws for the night. Draymond Green did as good as a Draymond Green as you could expect. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists, plus 15 on the court, but he was 0 for 6 from 3, 2 for 8 from the field. Quinton Post, not a good game. Moses Moody, not a good game, 1 for 5. And Steph Curry, you cannot be shooting 4 for 15 from deep, my boy. Like, it's so odd to me because Steph Curry has a great game, And then he's shit for 3 games now. Have you guys noticed that? Or is that just me? He's good, and then he's just ass. I don't know. This has been happening all year long. That's why this team can't win. And I understand that Steph Curry is old, and I understand Steph Curry was out for some time. But my Lord, he is so consistently inconsistent this season. And I think he started doing this last year. It's weird. Like, he's good, and then he's just buns. Their bench was horrible. Brandon Pod's 6 points, 2 for 5. He played 27 minutes, pulled a Karl-Anthony Towns last night, except he didn't have a turnover. DeAnthony Melton, 2 for 7, horrible game. Al Horford's 1,000 years old. He shot 1 for 8. Gary Payton, second, always brings you energy off the bench, 7 for 10. Guy Santos needs to play more minutes. I don't know what Steve Kerr is doing out there. I know he got ejected, but my Lord, is he... This team. And then here's the whole thing in this, bro. You have Jonathan Kuminga just rotting on the bench. Just rotting. Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen, if your team sucks, you would just try him out? Would you not just try him out? If your team is this bad, what have you got to lose? You're going to lose the game anyways. Just throw him in. I don't understand why they're allowing him to just rot on the bench. He was dropping 20 plus. Yeah, it wasn't the most efficient, and yeah, he was a ball stopper, but at least he was putting the ball in the hoop. I like this question from Avatar. You think the NBA forgives Kawhi for the money scandal if they don't give the Thunder the first pick? Maybe. I mean, I know he's still being investigated for it as well, as far as like Steve Ballmer goes. All right, guys, that is all the games from last night. I'm losing my voice. I do have one last piece of news that I would like to discuss. Trae Young, according to Shams, just in, Atlanta Hawks All-Star. Why does he call him an All-Star? Was he an All-Star last year? I don't remember. With his assists? He might have been. And his agents are working with the franchise on a trade. Sources tell ESPN, Young's reps and the Hawks have started collaborative talks over the last week in finding a resolution. Now, it also broke that the Washington Wizards are the front runner right now. The Washington Wizards, they are far from that. The Washington Wizards are looking to acquire Trae Young. Now, this is something very interesting. I don't know why the Wizards would want him. I really don't know why. I don't know why. I have nothing to say on this matter. I don't get it. I don't really get it. Trae Young is a cone. Major cone on defense. He doesn't play defense. And he can't shoot anymore. Here's the thing. You get Trae to Washington, Alex Sarr could be an all-star. Not yet, but here's the thing. He's got a player option next year. Okay. So if I were Trae Young, I would be picking up that player option because you're not going to get that super max that you wanted. Hell, you're not even going to get a max. Get super max out of your head. You're not even going to get a max. Yo, Zen Bro, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it very, very much. Shout out to all the legends that are leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. We need some more basketball fans, y'all. So if you guys are in the TikTok, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. Yeah, I mean, I ain't got really anything else to say about this other than why would the Wizards do this? I understand why the Hawks would do this, but why would the Wizards do this? I don't know. Quick Scoping is asking me, would Trae Young help out with Jordan Poole? Quick Scoping, Jordan Poole is not on the Wizards anymore. Jordan Poole isn't even in the conference. He is on the Pelicans. With that, we just saw who our casual fan of the day is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for today's episode. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to drop a follow on whatever platform you're watching / listening on. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and a review. Twitch chat, do not go anywhere. We are not done yet. Okay? Do not go anywhere. Twitch chat, stick around. Okay? YouTube, TikTok, have a blessed day. Spotify, Apple, appreciate all of y'all for listening. Have a wonderful day. I got nothing left to say, except we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern as per. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching / listening. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow. tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a good one, y'all. All right, TikTok. We are ending, but we are still live on Twitch. Be sure to swing on